Trading is 80 to 90% psychology. And therefore, for us to really understand what this whole game is about, we've got to jump inside the mind and figure out what's really controlling us. Trading, to start off with, and with anything else, it all starts with mindset. What's going on in your mind and what you're focusing on will ultimately define what you do. Your mind is basically split into two discrete sectional areas. You've got one, of course, the unconscious mind, or the subconscious. The other you've got, of course, is the conscious. Now, the conscious mind is all the rational, analytical thinking. The subconscious is what you're linking either pain, keeping away from, or pleasure, something you're looking to go towards. Now, most people don't ever start trading or investing actively because they link up in their mind they're going to lose money. And that's why those of you who are either watching via video or anybody who's completely brand new to it in this room here has never started, because in their mind, somewhere along that thread, they've linked up they may lose some money. And if they've linked that up, whether they've linked it up via focusing on stock market crashes as opposed to billionaire traders, they'll go in the opposite direction. Very much like anything we do. If you consider our focus on chocolate. If we decide that chocolate is fun, it tastes great, we feel good, it gives you a high, which of course it gives you all of those things, you're going to eat more chocolate. If you focus on the fact that chocolate will make you fat, and you don't want to be fat, and you link massive pain with being fat, the likelihood is you will not eat chocolate. It really depends where your focus is. Good and bad exists in everything. It's really where is our focus and what has our focus been on. Now, our focus can change over time. For example, one person might consider, for example, pain in something, whereas another person might see pleasure. You might hear, for example, that a man gets beaten, whipped up, and tied up and whipped. You might read on the front page of a newspaper a week later that a good politician paid exceedingly good money for the exact same treatment. Same treatment, but essentially a different association, whether that's painful or pleasurable. Some people hate risk and would never even consider risking 1% of their capital on trading. Therefore, this would be not the appropriate environment for them. But then again, risk nothing, make nothing, get more of the same. So trading is really all about what we're linking up our emotions to, and when we link up things, if we focus on things in a negative way, we're going to move away from them. If we're focusing on things positively, we're going to start to move towards them. If you are in a situation whereby you've wanted to start trading all these years, you've never really done it, you've gone and done the same old thing every day, you've gone and made your money, spent your money, made your money and spent your money, it's really because you've been controlled by a dominant force within your mind. So when we start trading, we've really got to look at it from a standpoint of how do we get motivated to get in there? We've got to link more pain with not trading than actually doing it. Most people will do more, think of this in terms of our psychology, will do more to avoid pain than they actually will do to go get what they really want. In other words, most people will change or do something when things get bad enough. And that's pretty much what this is really all about. So what you've got to link up in your mind is, boy, I'd really like to get a great income from this, and you've got to focus on, well, what do I miss out on if I don't do this, as opposed to, hey, I'm just going to clock in every day, take my salary, and never really make anything of this. So the way we've got to really link it up is, what do I miss out on? Now, to trade or not to trade, we don't want to jump to this particular diagram here. You can see on the to not trade, well, I'm sure it can't be that easy. Stock markets crash, don't they? If the professionals are getting it wrong, who am I kidding? Can I really do it? I don't have any time to trade, and if it were possible, I'm sure I'd know more people who were doing it. That's the negative view on things. Because on the positive side of things, we could ask the question, how much money can I make? When I'm making so much money a month, I'll do this. If I start now, that's the sooner I'm going to start retiring. And I've met 4 successful traders so far. Next month I'm going to meet 6, and I'm going to try and beat them. And that would be a completely different stratospheric mindset from the person who sits there clocking in, day out, saying it's not possible, I can't do anything with it. Why do people do this? Because people get seduced into a hypnotic environment which says it's not possible. Particularly here in the UK and Europe, we are actually far behind with the mindset in the US and certainly some of the other Antipodean countries, where people believe that a decent second income stream is possible and can certainly be achieved with just a little bit of effort. In the UK, we've become very conditioned into believing the only assets we can build are those which are linked to bricks and mortar and property, and therefore stock markets do crash and we must keep away from them. And in so doing, we take the mindset with us that creating a second, third or fourth income is not possible. Therefore, we've really got to start at the home of this, when the home of this really is in beliefs and the belief systems that we adopt. A great practitioner in the 70s by the name of Bob Dilts figured out that there was a belief system that people adopt, and it really fits a cycle. The cycle starts off with, I believe that it's not possible. and it's unlikely I'm going to do well, then the action they're going to take from that is, well, I'll have a dabble, I'll have a little go, maybe I'll attend a free seminar, maybe I'll go and, maybe I'll pick up the paper and have a little read, or maybe I'll buy some free software. I'll have a little dabble with it, but in terms of the resources that I leverage, they're going to be minimal because I'm already expecting not to succeed in this. And because the resources leveraged is small, the action taken is minimal, the real results that come out of this at the back end are going to be tiny. And of course, they're going to be insignificant, and they're going to essentially then reinforce the original belief, which that much is not really possible. That's a negative belief system, and you'll see if we just jump to the diagram here, a really good example of that is most people lose. I'm probably one of them. That's what the original belief would be. Starts off, the action then is, well, I'm going to play with a paper trading account, I'll go to the odd free seminar, I have a little dabble around, but my resources are sporadic. Look at investing every time I feel poor, right? Every time I look at my bank account and I suddenly see I'm down £1,000 and my income is less than £1,000, and I realize I've got to do something about it. Again, that's the response to pain as opposed to anything else. But then really the results I'm taking from that, I'm no better off, this is probably a waste of time, and then I just reinforce the original belief. Now if we jump from the negative belief to somebody who might have a different mindset, which would be obviously a positive belief, which is if anyone can, I'm sure I can. You know what? I'm going to completely immerse myself in this, see exactly how much I can achieve. Boy, I'm going to get myself around experts. I'm going to open an account. I'm going to put some money into that account. I'm going to fund it. I'm going to get started. And when my results come good, it's going to confirm the belief and keep me going. Now there's a mindset shift here, isn't there? One group of people believe it's not possible, they don't do too much, and the whole premise of what's possible for you, or the realms of possibility, are certainly created within the walls of your belief. Is certainly very true, isn't it? If you don't believe this much is possible, you aren't going to go too far. The old question becomes, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And I think that rings really true here. I meet not hundreds, but thousands of traders every month who either see me at exhibitions or trading seminars, and they go to me and they ask, can I watch you trade? Can you tell me some of your strategies? And I always ask them, how much money do you want to make from this? What do you want to do with this? And they never even dare face the question, because they first of all don't even believe it's going to be possible. And people are more worried about disappointing themselves than really ever going for it in the first place. If you want to start in this game, the first thing we've really got to master is believing it's possible. So we take the necessary and appropriate action to follow through. Will there be pitfalls along the way? Absolutely. But unless we step up and break through and associate ourselves with people that are already doing it, we're never going to get there. So the real question becomes, if you've got a negative set of beliefs and we've got a positive set of beliefs, how do you shift yourself if you know you're kind of in the negative camp and you haven't taken much action? If you want to figure out if you're in the negative camp, real simple way of doing it. You might not consider yourself to be a negative person. That's not really what we're talking about. We're not talking about an appropriation towards pessimism. I'm really talking about a negative orientation towards investing or trading. If you want to know if that's where you sit, very simple to figure out. Look at your investments. Are you currently earning more from your residual investments than you are from your income? And if the answer to that question is no, then you ain't in the investing or trading camp. You're working for a living. You're giving your sweat, blood and tears to produce the money that you're making and then spending. You are in the negative camp. Simple as that. You might be an optimistic person in all other areas of your life, but if you want to know which camp you live in, just look at your investments. Look at your net worth. If your net worth is not increased to a point where you could retire and literally live off the residual income, you haven't started investing early enough. So the point of the matter is can we change that rapidly? Can we start producing an income stream and correct that? We can correct that at any time, but the earlier time we do that, the bigger the mountains are going to be in the future that we might build. Okay? So what do we do? How do we shift ourselves if we've now isolated and figured out we're in the negative camp? That's the mindset we've got. Money comes hard. The beliefs that we're living by is that we must work hard for money. We've got to put time, sweat and effort in. If that's the belief set that we're living under, how do we shift it? And really the only way to shift it is to spend time with people who already live in the different mindset. You've got really two options in life, and there's been some great mentors that I've had the opportunity to spend time with, and one of the greats has said to me, Greg, don't spend time with losers, okay? Because losers and can certainly be your family and your friends. And I don't mean they're not great people. I'm sure they're great people. But if you have a direction and a goal which is here, okay, and they don't have that direction and goal, they will drag you down. And the reason they'll drag you down is, number one, they don't want you to be successful. Not because they don't want you to be successful, for no other reason than if your success, by contrast, equals their failure.